So our next featured speaker is another young Democrat at the University of Washington. And they are also by far one of our most passionate members at the University of Washington. Every meeting we have like a fun conversation, or even a serious conversation. There's always new national highlights, new state and local highlights that occur every week, and we like to think how we can foster engagement on these issues, but also think about what we can do to change them and to take action. But every time we do this, I cannot say that I have never snapped more in solidarity with any other person than this person. So I am very pleased to welcome our very own Jennifer Henderson to the stage.
Law, Societies, and Justice major graduating in December, and this is my second year with the Young Democrats. About 2 weeks ago, I was working my job at the Beau Shed in Bremerton when a woman walked into the restaurant late at night and sat alone at one of my tables. As I was taking her order, I noticed that she was wearing a necklace that had the transgender symbol on it and a pin with the transgender symbol that said, "This is what resilient looks like." My heart began to pound in my chest as I thought about a tragedy that had happened just a few months ago. My cousin Melody was a transgender woman who had issues with anxiety and depression that led her to self-medicate with alcohol. Struggling with her gender identity and the reactions from family members, she decided that living was too much for her to bear, and she ended her life on December 6th, 2017. The last post she ever made on Facebook 4 days before her death just said, "I love you." All of these memories were running through my head when suddenly the woman asked for her check and she started to leave. I decided I was going to say something to her. I didn't know what, but I felt like I needed to. I sat down next to this complete stranger and I cried as I told her about Melody. I told this woman that her existence was beautiful and inspiring and that I wish my cousin had had the chance to meet her. I spilled all my feelings onto the table, not knowing how she would react. She sat silently for a moment, likely shocked by my candid remarks. When she finally spoke, she told me that she's a PhD student at the University of Oregon doing research on transgender suicide rates. She said, "Every day that I'm not doing my work, I know that I lose another person out there." She said growing up that her and her friends said that they wanted to meet the woman of their dreams. She said, "I became the woman of my dreams." The tears streamed down my face as I thought about what Melody could have been if she had the support and confirmation of her identity that makes a person feel whole. We cried and talked as customers passed by and stared. When I finally had to excuse myself, she gave me her card, we hugged and said goodbye, and she went back to Oregon. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about my experience with this woman, Bethany, what an immaculate role model she was, how she could change the lives of so many trans individuals just with her existence. The next day, I came into work and my boss handed me something. It was the pin that Bethany was wearing the night before. He explained to me that the night before, Bethany had come into the restaurant after we had closed, looking to give me the pin. I was tickled that she would come back for me, just for a little pin. A few hours later, my jaw dropped to the floor when I saw her there again. There was Bethany sitting at the same table she was the night before. She told me that she had taken the ferry from Seattle just to come back and see me, and that she wanted to tell me a story. She told me that her research was funded by Caitlyn Jenner's foundation and that she was looking to create a diagnostic tool that could be used in assessing the suicide rates of queer individuals based off of how often and intensely they are denied their own identity. She found in her research that denial of identity has a close relationship with suicide rates for LGBTQA and queer individuals. With her $10,000 of grant money, she had interviewed transgender folks from all around the country, and she asked me if I could tell her more about Melody if I was willing. Bethany and I talked for the hour that she was there, forming an incredibly emotional and intense connection. She told me that in her research, she found that cases like Melody's were She talked about her struggles with proving her own existence, and that her life was a constant fight to have the rest of society realize her identity the way that she did. We hugged about 4 or 5 more times, and then she made her way back to Oregon, for real this time. My cousin might be gone, but there are individuals just like her that we as Democrats have the moral obligation to protect. Melody's voice was destroyed by ignorant ideas that made her feel like her life was worthless. But I will carry on her voice, and I will not be silenced. Those of us with privileged voices must use them to raise up individuals who are not being heard. We must fight for representation so that those who feel forgotten or invisible know that their voices will be heard. And if any party has the strength or character to do that, it is us. Bethany and I will continue to resist together, and we'd love for you to join us. Thank you.